The honeymoon phase of the baseball season is officially over. The brutal reality of the May grind is currently delivering a massive blow to the championship ambitions of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dave Roberts has just been forced to issue a severe internal warning regarding the shocking decline in the pitching performance of Shohei OHTANI. Is this sudden drop on the mound just temporary fatigue? Or is this the terrifying start of a catastrophic medical disaster that the manager is desperately trying to prevent? Right now, the panic inside the Los Angeles clubhouse is completely real. Before we expose the brutal data behind this pitching collapse, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss our breaking MLB coverage. The entire baseball world needs to see the truth behind the struggles of the greatest player alive. Forget about the meaningless excuses from the mainstream media. We need to look directly at the cold and terrifying numbers flashing on the stadium scoreboards. The pure kinetic action on the mound is telling a very dangerous story. The fastball velocity of Shohei OHTANI is visibly dropping. His signature splitter and sweeping slider are completely losing their sharp bite. He is missing the strike zone and walking batters at an alarming rate. This sudden loss of mechanical control is directly causing the Los Angeles Dodgers to lose critical leads during the most important innings of the game. Every single pitch that misses the target is not just a wasted opportunity. It is a massive red alarm, ringing directly in the ears of Dave Roberts. The medical staff is watching his every move with extreme anxiety. When a pitcher loses his velocity and his control, it usually means his arm is experiencing severe structural fatigue. The pitching motion requires absolute perfection from the lower body all the way up through the shoulder and into the fingertips. Right now, the kinetic chain of OHTANI looks broken. He is throwing the baseball instead of driving it through the zone. This mechanical breakdown puts immense pressure on his recently repaired elbow. The doctors know that fatigue is the #1 cause of ligament damage. Dave Roberts is looking at the biometric data and seeing a nightmare unfold in real time. The manager cannot simply ignore the massive drop in performance. He has a responsibility to protect the massive financial investment of the franchise. The opposing hitters are starting to realize that the Japanese superstar is vulnerable. They are no longer swinging blindly at his secondary pitches. They are waiting for him to make a mistake over the middle of the plate. And right now, OHTANI is making far too many mistakes. When his fastball drops from 99 miles per hour down to 94, the entire dynamic changes. Major league hitters can easily adjust to a slower fastball. This forces him to rely entirely on his slider. But the slider requires extreme torque on the elbow joint to create the sweeping motion. Because his arm is tired, the slider is staying flat over the plate. It is not diving into the dirt. Hitters are crushing these flat sliders into the outfield stands. The data from the pitching analytics department shows a massive decrease in the spin rate of the baseball. A lower spin rate means the pitch loses its magic. It becomes an easy target. Dave Roberts is watching his ace get battered around the field, and the manager knows exactly why it is happening. The physical tank is completely empty. The Los Angeles Dodgers defense is being forced to work overtime because their ace cannot strike out batters like he usually does. This creates a toxic cycle of stress on the entire roster. The starting rotation of the Dodgers was already dealing with massive injury problems. They desperately needed OHTANI to be the dominant ace that anchors the staff. Instead, they are getting an exhausted pitcher who is struggling to survive the 5th inning. Tell me down in the comments if you think the Los Angeles Dodgers are making a massive mistake by letting him pitch through this slump. The tension between the front office and the dugout is reaching a breaking point as the losses continue to pile up. The core issue goes far beyond simple muscle fatigue. We have to examine the unprecedented physical workload of a two-way player in modern baseball. Shohei OHTANI is demanding his body to do the impossible. When a normal elite pitcher finishes his start, he spends the next 4 days resting his arm and doing light recovery work. The focus is entirely on reducing inflammation and rebuilding the microscopic tears in the muscle tissue. But OHTANI does not rest. The very next day, he is back in the batter box, swinging a heavy wooden bat with maximum rotational force. This creates an absolute nightmare for the physical therapy team of the Los Angeles Dodgers. His muscles never fully repair. The micro tears in his shoulder and his elbow accumulate day after day. The kinetic chain is being pushed past the natural limits of human biology. Dave Roberts is desperately trying to implement a strict load management protocol. The manager wants to give him scheduled days off to let the internal swelling subside. But the Japanese phenomenon completely rejects this idea. His legendary stubbornness is clashing directly with the medical reality of the situation. He believes he can pitch through the pain and the fatigue. He believes his sheer willpower can overcome structural decay. But biology does not care about willpower. The front office is watching a slow-motion disaster. Dave Roberts must find a way to save Ohtani from his own relentless ambition before the ulnar collateral ligament completely snaps again. The kinetic warfare on the baseball field is brutal. Every time Ohtani steps on the mound, he has to generate immense power from his lower half. The energy transfers up through his hips and into his torso before whipping through his arm, but because his legs are tired from running the bases and playing every single day, his lower half is no longer generating the required power. To compensate for this weak foundation, his brain tells his arm to work harder. He starts using pure arm strength to throw the baseball. This is the exact moment when pitching becomes deadly. Throwing a baseball at 99 miles per hour with pure arm strength places terrifying stress directly on the elbow joint. The biomechanical experts watching the games are seeing this exact flaw in his delivery. He is flying open too early. His arm is lagging behind his body. When the arm lags behind, the elbow absorbs all the shock of the throw. Dave Roberts sees the pitching mechanics falling apart. He knows that every single pitch thrown with these broken mechanics is a gamble with the future of the franchise. But the crisis on the mound is creating a massive secondary disaster that is destroying the Los Angeles Dodgers from the inside out. The bullpen is completely collapsing. Because Ohtani cannot pitch deep into the game, the relief pitchers are being forced into action much earlier than planned. Dave Roberts has to burn through his best bullpen arms by the 5th inning. These relievers are now throwing way too many pitches every single week. Their arms are dying. The entire pitching staff is trapped in a deadly cycle of overuse. When the bullpen is exhausted, they give up late runs and lose games. When they give up late runs, Ohtani feels even more pressure to stay on the mound longer in his next start to protect the bullpen. This forces him to throw more pitches when his velocity is already dropping. It is a terrifying loop of mechanical failure. The mechanics of Ohtani are breaking down because he is exhausted, but he refuses to leave the game because he knows his teammates are equally tired. He is altering his arm angle to compensate for the fatigue. Changing the arm angle alters the biomechanical stress points. Instead of the larger shoulder muscles absorbing the shock, shear force travels straight down into the fragile elbow joint. The risk of a catastrophic tear increases with every single inning he stays on the mound. While Los Angeles is drowning in this medical and tactical nightmare, the situation on the East Coast is completely different. Look at Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees. They are absolutely dominating the month of May. Aaron Judge is healthy and he is destroying opposing pitchers with brutal efficiency. The Yankees do not have to worry about their captain blowing out his pitching arm because he only has to focus on hitting the baseball. This massive physical advantage is allowing New York to build a terrifying momentum in the league. The baseball universe is constantly comparing Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge. The rivalry is fierce. When Judge hits massive home runs, the pressure immediately shifts back to Los Angeles. Shohei Ohtani sees the highlights on the stadium monitors. He knows that the Yankees are cruising, while his team is struggling to survive the intense May schedule. This rivalry creates an invisible psychological weight. It forces Ohtani to overthrow his pitches. He is trying to strike out every single batter to prove he is still the undisputed king of baseball, but overthrowing only accelerates the mechanical breakdown of his arm. He grips the baseball tighter. He snaps his wrist harder on the slider. The Los Angeles Dodgers are bleeding while the New York Yankees are sharpening their weapons for a deep playoff run. The power shift in Major League Baseball is happening right now, and the physical limitations of Ohtani are the main catalyst. The New York Yankees are playing relaxed and confident baseball. Juan Soto and Aaron Judge are feeding off the energy of each other. They do not have the burden of carrying a broken pitching staff. Meanwhile, every single time Shohei Ohtani takes the mound, the entire stadium holds its breath. The fans are terrified of seeing him grab his elbow. The contrast between the two rival teams is striking. Dave Roberts is trying to manage a medical emergency, while the Yankees are putting on a masterclass in offensive dominance. This puts immense pressure on the Los Angeles front office. They built this super team to dominate the league, but right now they are just trying to survive the month. The psychological toll on the Dodgers is massive. The players see their ace struggling. They see the manager pacing in the dugout. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. We are rapidly approaching the ultimate breaking point of the season. Dave Roberts is facing the most difficult decision of his entire managerial career. He can no longer wait for Ohtani to voluntarily ask for a day off. The manager must enforce an absolute mandate. He must step in and force Shohei Ohtani to skip his next scheduled start on the mound. This decision will cause a massive earthquake inside the clubhouse. The superstar will hate it. He will argue with the manager. The fans who bought expensive tickets to see him pitch will be absolutely furious. But skipping a start is the only way to stop the deadly cycle of fatigue and biomechanical failure. It is the only way to let the inflamed tissues inside his elbow heal. If Roberts lets him pitch and the elbow snaps, the blame will fall entirely on the manager. His legacy will be ruined. The entire season of the Los Angeles Dodgers is hanging by a single thread. Can Dave Roberts show the ultimate iron fist and save the greatest talent in baseball history from his own competitive fire? Or will the Los Angeles Dodgers sacrifice the future of their two-way superstar just to survive the grueling schedule of May? The next 48 hours will determine the fate of the entire franchise. The medical reports are sitting on the desk. The data is clear. The kinetic warnings are flashing bright red. Someone has to make the unpopular call. Tell me in the comments what you think Dave Roberts should do right now. Should he force Ohtani to sit on the bench and rest his arm, or let him fight through the pain on the mound? Make sure you subscribe to the channel right now so you do not miss the next explosive update on this developing crisis.